Happy Sunday evening, this is Q&A Sunday, and I've got some great questions from last Sunday evening, so I just wanted to scroll through and answer some of these questions. We've got one from Stuart Bryce, which says, Samuel, how do you go about finding the average rent in an area? Really good question, Stuart. When you're buying a property, you need to know what the rent is, and I always say anything will rent out at the right price. You just need to figure out what the right price is. How do you do that? Well, there's a few ways. One way is to just go on Rightmove and Zoopla and see what's renting in the area currently, so see what the competition is. If you're expecting to get £700 a month rent, but there's a house similar that's on the market for £600 and it's not rented in 3 months, then you know that you are no way going to get £700. So one, what's renting. Two, what's rented. So look on sites like Open Rent and you can see what properties previously rented, and what's rented is more important than what's renting, because if it's on the market for rent at 700 but it's not rented, then it might be overpriced. So you need to see what's renting, what's rented, and then the last thing is talk to local agents, talk to letting agents in the area. Ask them, say, look, I'm looking to rent this property, what would I get? Sometimes I even pretend to be a tenant and ring up and pose to be a tenant and ask questions about the area, the prices, what I can get for my money, and that's all part of your due diligence when buying a house. So I hope that helps. Stuart Bryce, thank you so much. Alright, let's see what else we got. We've got Danny G.I. who says, how the hell will you be able to manage properties from all around the world? Great question. Listen, I don't manage my own properties, so if I did, it would be physically impossible because I've got a lot of houses and I do travel the world. So how do I do it? What I actually have is I have property managers for each house. So if I've got a HMO in Liverpool, I'm going to have a HMO management company that manage that property. Then if I've got a single let in Wales, I've got a buy-to-let management company that will manage that. And I usually pay around about 10% of the rent to management companies. However, because I've got so many properties, sometimes managing property managers can almost be as bad as managing tenants. So I have property managers, but then I have an overseer. And the overseer is someone who's a member of my staff full time, and the overseer manages the property managers who manage the tenants, and the overseer is the only person who's allowed to speak to me direct. And we just touch base once a month, 5 minutes. I'll say, hey, what's going on? How's everything going with the properties? And that's my system. So you definitely can have properties managed for you. Otherwise, it's not passive income. It's just a job. If you've got people, that's why when people say, I only want to buy close to home so I can keep an eye on the property. I'm like, that's a really bad plan A. Because what that means is that there will be problems and you will step in. And that's not financial freedom, that's a rope around your neck. That's not an investment property, that's a headache. So really important to get good management companies set up. And that is how I manage my properties from all around the world. So I hope that helps. Let's see what else we got. David Kearney 5 says, how do I say to my parents that I don't want to go to college but want to get into flipping houses to start with and gaining capital, and then using that capital to gain a portfolio of renting properties? All right, how do you tell your parents? David, my advice on this is just tell them, like in the way that you just told me. Just tell them. I mean, so many people are just so afraid of what their parents are going to say or think, or their ex-school teachers, or their husbands, wives, siblings. Life's short. On every tombstone, there's 2 dates, and then there's a dash in the middle. And right now, we're in that little dash right now. And life is really short. So I just think you just got to live life to the fullest. And if you feel like you want to be a property investor and you really want to do this, and you don't want to go to college, what's the point of going to college to get a job if you don't want a job? What? It's ridiculous. Why would you spend years studying and training and investing in something in the hope that that will give you that when you don't want that? Like, just to please somebody. I think we need to stop trying to please people. I really do. I think that people are so bothered about what their parents think and trying to yearn for approval. Just do you, man. Just do you, because ultimately your parents will respect you more. And your parents trying to stop their kids, it's out of fear and love. They love you and they're scared because they think, oh no, because they believe that it's not possible, it's too hard. But it really is, because I did it. I started at 17 years old and I was financially free by 21. Started with no money at all. So you can do it, man. You just got to just stand up, go for it. They'll ultimately be proud of you, but you got to do you. Kevin Llewellyn. I hope I'm pronouncing this right. Hi Samuel, love the videos. I've read both of what Buy Low Rent High, Financially Free in 7 Days, and just finished Alistair's book. I've gone to a few property networking events and have booked onto your crash course late June. What advice would you give me in the meantime, as I want to get involved more without being a motivated idiot? Thanks again and keep doing what you're doing. What do you mean you want to be involved more without looking like a motivated idiot? The thing is, you can be involved without investing into property just yet. So the only way you'll be a motivated idiot is if you rush into something and spend a lot of money investing in a property or a deal or a joint venture partnership without the right training. That's what I call a motivated idiot. But if you're going to property networking events and you're reading and you're studying and you're mixing with the right people, you go to a property auction, make friends, see how it goes, go and view properties, meet with agents, tell them what you're trying to do. But just what I would say is, that's not being a motivated idiot. That's called being a sponge. That's called immersing yourself in property. So all these things, some of the stuff that you're already doing, is exactly what I would do. You're coming to the crash course in June. That's like late June. That's real soon. We're just talking like a few weeks away. So my thoughts would just be, I think sometimes where people just need to get patient. Sometimes people say, I'm booked on the course, but oh my gosh, I just can't wait. I need to, just breathe. You can get started. You can start going to property networking events and you can read books and you can view houses and you can speak to agents and you can ring an accountant and ring a mortgage broker and tell them, this is what I'm trying to do. How can you help me? You can start thinking positively so that when you get trained, you're in the right headspace to be able to then take action. All this stuff is fantastic. And I would do. You can maybe go get some business cards printed with your name on it, and that way when you come to the training programs and you start thinking, oh my gosh, I can do this, I can find properties, I want to sell these houses now, I want a joint venture, then you've got business cards and you can pass them to people who you make friends with on the programs who could potentially be joint venture partners. All this sort of stuff. This is not being a motivated idiot. This is just called being a sponge. You've got to be a sponge, man. You've got to be a sponge. But yeah, you're right though about, a motivated idiot is someone who invests their money on property without being educated, because that's just nuts. Because as I always say, property is the best investment after yourself, because you are ultimately the best investment you'll ever make in. Hope that's been helpful. If you are booked onto the crash course, I sincerely look forward to seeing you. If you're not, then come and meet me, spend a couple of days together and really put together your plan to financial freedom. Have a lovely, lovely Sunday evening, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow on Mentoring Monday at 7 p.m. Peace out, guys. A lot of love.